Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another analysis video. On the agenda tonight we have Led Zeppelin, and this is going to be coming from Sydney, Australia in 1972, and they're going to be playing through rock and roll. So let's get the guys up on screen and see how they get on. I'm just going to jump in here quickly just to point out a few things. What a great performance this is so far. I've never seen this video before until earlier today, and it's such a great version, live version. And what I say about the very top bands, I've said this in other videos, about the fact that they can get the essence of their sound and who they are onto a record from a live performance. And it was very much stemming from when a band would play in a studio, there was an energy and there was a sound, and if anything there's a chemistry between members of a band that somehow they could capture on a record. And this is the case in point that you can take the vinyl or the tape or the CD or the MP3, whatever you've got nowadays, and you can compare that to this live performance, and they've got the same energy, the same feel to it. And how many times have you seen a band who are really top technical players and they're playing something amazing, but it just doesn't connect with you for some reason? And sometimes it's just that chemistry, it's just how easy it is to watch. It might sound really technically impressive, but if there's no emotion and no connection with it as an audience, then you don't really get into it. Whereas with Led Zeppelin, they absolutely had every element that you want. They had that entertainment, the songwriting, the technical ability, and that chemistry on stage. People forget that Jimmy was supplying all of the rhythm guitar work and lead work all in one. He didn't have somebody then backing him up on guitar when he'd go off into a lead break. So more often than not, he had to try and fill out as much space as possible when he went off into a lead line, exactly like he does here. If he went off into single notes too much, the whole lead would then drop out. But there's so many elements within this performance that really show how good Led Zeppelin were at pulling off the performance live from a recorded version. Sometimes a band really struggle to get that same energy or just get the same overall sound as you might hear on a record. Another thing to look out for, and you can visually but also listen to the way that John Paul Jones is playing that bass, some of the runs that he throws in there, but how it's totally interwoven with what John Bonham's doing on that drum kit. And like I mentioned with Jimmy Page, there's only one guitar going on here, so that foundation is going to be absolutely rock solid if Jimmy goes off into any lead line. And this is a great video because the sound is just spot on the whole time, and I'm talking about just from the band in terms of drums, bass and rhythm guitar. They're absolutely on it. It's so tight. And then you've got that cherry on top, which is Plant's vocals just absolutely all over it. He really belted it out the whole time, and this is a classic example of that. There's no flipping going on when he goes up it doesn't flip into that head register or into any falsetto. He keeps that full-blooded sound the whole way through. Obviously, for a song like Rock and Roll, you've got to lean into that sound, and that's exactly what Plant is doing here. There's so much going on here in terms of the bass. You could just play this back, listen to the work John Paul Jones is doing on the bass. You can then scrap that and then just listen to John Bonham on drums as well. And you can do that for Robert Plant as well and Jimmy Page. But then it's how they all link together. That is the magic. That is what makes Led Zeppelin such a legendary band. And being able to write a song, that's always the hardest bit. Let's watch the rest of this video. And there we go, what a great live version that was. Robert Plant isn't playing anything. They've only got drums, bass and guitar. So when you put that into the mix, the sound they're getting here is so full and so impressive. How many other bands could do so much with so little? And Led Zeppelin, that's the reason that they're right up there. Not only could they make such a great sound with minimal equipment live, but they could put that all into a great live show, but also into great songs as well. And another point about Jimmy Page, I have mentioned in his playing before, how he can really push the playing to the limits, but also he's got that ability to write and to write a riff. And sometimes you can have those players that are so technically amazing and real top technical players, but they really struggle to write something melodic. And that's where you get the difference between somebody who's got an ear for melody and can compose, and somebody who works on a lot of techniques and is really impressive to watch from a technical standpoint, but then you listen to their songs and it doesn't really connect, it's not really catchy. And Jimmy Page is one of those players that live he can really push it to the limit and also give you something totally different live to what was on the record, but also in the studio he could write something memorable, melodic, and he could write a hit. That's what everybody wants, is to be able to write a riff and write a song that is going to sell millions, because that is the holy grail. And I don't know if there's any other footage of this show in particular, but it would be great to see some other songs from this show. This is a great performance of Rock and Roll, but also it's just a great 3 minutes and 7 seconds of how to play with just drums, bass and guitar and a lead vocal. There's not a lot going on here. We haven't got multiple guitars, multiple synth, any orchestra going on. Nowadays we get so used to hearing a band that's got like 5 or 10 members, and sometimes a 3-piece will even get in an orchestra behind them and fill in the sound live, where this is just absolutely stripped back. Led Zeppelin getting a great sound live just like they did on the original record. But thank you so much for suggesting this video for me to take a look at, and keep those suggestions coming in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think, and if you like this video please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Rock!